Hi everybody, Sarah Marie Thompson here from wildandcreative.com, and this is a Wild and Creative Masterclass, fun ways to increase your personal power and everyday magic. And today I'm really excited. I have an awesome internet sensation guest with me, Brooke Hampton. She's a fellow wild woman. She's like a visionary. She is a visionary for teaching your children how to grow in a very inspired and empowered way, and I thank her very much for being here.
Hello.
So, okay, Brooke, you have a couple social media sites that have kind of blown up over the past few years. And from what I can tell, they've really got a broad reach to everybody because they're inspiring. You have wonderful imagery that is all about living freely, living creative, living a very inspired life. And you're kind of like, I don't know if you're a poet or a quote maker, if you will, but I feel like that is definitely your vibe.
Words are definitely my magic. I love words. Yeah. A lot of times I don't even know how I feel about something until I go to put it down on paper. My sister's a musician and she writes and she calls it bleeding in ink.
Okay.
You go to sit down with a pen and you just bleed out. That's kind of how my life has been. It's always been an avenue for me to, in the past, I didn't have any place to share it, but I've always, since I was really young, it was my place to go and just let it out. How I was really feeling always seemed to come through with a pen. And now it's typing, but still, same kind of energy.
So you have two quite powerful social media, we'll call them titles or what have you. One is Barefoot Five, right? And that's about you and your family.
Yeah.
And then the other one is Holy Flow Parenting. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so can you tell us just a little bit about both?
So originally Barefoot Five started out as a blog just about my daily activity. And it's amazing how the universe has come and sort of guided me along the way. And it's become something very different than what it started out to be. It's really more of a place where I had actually shut the page down 2 years ago for about 6 months. I just totally turned it off because I felt like it was time for me to get more direction. It started to grow and I got nervous because I didn't know. I had intended for just to be a casual blog for me to document my kids' childhood so they'd have some place, because I'm not overly organized and so I don't print photos and make scrapbooks and stuff. And so I thought, well, this will be a great place they can go and look at this blog someday and see what it was like, what different challenges I was experiencing, how I was moving through those, so that if they ever needed advice. And sometimes you can't remember. My mom, a lot of times when I bring her questions about stages of my kids' childhood or my own life, she can't remember, so long ago. She's like, oh, I don't remember what I did during that. So I thought, well, this is great. I'll document it and then I'll be able to remember and they can go, And then it became, I shut the page down when I was feeling overwhelmed by what it is. I needed more direction. I needed to get that direct download of what it is I was supposed to be doing in that space. And during that time, I got a very clear message that I was supposed to be a bridge. I just kept getting this, be the bridge, be the bridge. And what does that mean? I don't even know what that means. And I really had to sit on that and meditate on that. And it for me, it's been being that bridge over that I wish I had when I was in that really unhappy place of not knowing, where do I belong? What am I doing? I felt so disconnected from source energy, that direct download. I couldn't find it. I was missing it. And I was in so much fear, I think, because of I've had to do a lot of different things going on in my life, but fear was just a constant battle with me. I was in so much, battling all the time, anxiety, and it's so heavy, it's so heavy. And I think it's because I wasn't walking in my purpose. I wasn't moving in my power. I was trapped in this, trying to be what everyone else wanted me to be, and it wasn't a good fit, and I was miserable. So the bridge I want to be that for other people. And it really wasn't about learning anything specific. It was about just remembering who you already are. You need those little reminders sometimes. Someone say, oh, go out and put your bare feet on the ground or follow the moon phases, just a reminder. And then once you start doing it, you realize, oh, this is my natural rhythm. This is where I belong. I just needed someone to point and go, oh, look over there, look at that over there, because we have been so disconnected. We're so disconnected from our from nature, from our power, from our magic. And whether it's intentional or not, I don't know if some conspiracy theorists will say, well, we've been intentionally separated. I don't know, but I know that it's happened, and I can see it very apparent all around me. People are feeling really lost and disconnected from, they don't even know what they're disconnected from. What is it that I'm missing, So anyway.
I feel like, so as a very nature lover, fellow wild woman, very creative person, I feel like I would imagine that you probably use your intuition all the time, but we all have ruts of intuition too, right? And I would feel like at that time maybe you had like a intuition block. Did you feel that way? Like is intuition and clarity, like they go hand in hand for you, right?
Well, you've been taught to not trust it, especially, I know for me as a mother, I have been taught to just do this is what we do. This is the proper way to do these things. And there is no room for intuition in that. And if you do anything different than that, then you're, quote unquote weird, or you're, not a good parent. You're an unfit parent if you're doing it this way. If your kids are running around barefoot without shoes, you're an unfit parent, or whatever these, social boxes are. So intuition wise, I had to relearn and remember how to even listen to my intuition, to trust it, to not be afraid to, when your intuition says, don't go today, don't go there today.
Right.
Okay, so I'm going to stay here. And it was just slow. It was little things. It was grab those tweezers on the counter. I don't know why, I'm going to grab them. And an hour later, I definitely needed them. It's just listening. And once you start listening, you build a relationship again with your intuition, and it starts becoming easier, and you trust it. When you get energy doesn't lie. Intuition is such a powerful tool in navigating through life, because so many things can lie to us, images and words and all of these things, but energy has a way of always telling the truth. Vibes, that you get from people or situations, trust those. And I think as long as we give ourselves an opportunity to start listening, that relationship will quickly build, and you'll get that, and you get to the point where better than to not listen. You have too many situations where you didn't listen, you go, why didn't I just listen to myself?
I want to ask you what your opinion is for like some of the women and men that are watching, when it comes to them feeling as though they're on their life's purpose and feeling fulfilled in a lot of certain ways, but maybe there's still some things that are not, like maybe the financials aren't coming in, right? But they feel like they're on their life's purpose. What kind of light can you shed on maybe something that they might be able to do or switch or change in that sense?
That's well, our system's kind of not the best ever at this moment. And I think a lot of us tend to get so caught up in the material world and the system that's in place and functioning in that we forget that there is a greater purpose here, that maybe that really isn't all we're supposed to be working on,
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where a lot of us got lost, where we really took a turn away from our true purpose here, is when we became so focused on acquiring things and setting up individual lives. We left that tribe setting where we would be supporting and helping each other, where people didn't have to be so isolated and have to build all over. Every generation has to rebuild an entire life, right? You would have help and you would have assistance. And so when you felt called to do something, you would have support in doing that, because it was benefiting the whole tribe. Where now we're isolated, we're having to, as two, sometimes even just one, you have single parents who are trying to do all of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's impossible. So for me, it's been so much about building community, reaching out to my sisters and becoming for them what I hope to find for myself someday. So really reaching out and building community so we can all help and assist each other in building our, I for my children, when I look at them, I choose to teach them how to function in this system,
Mm-hmm.
and thrive in it, but also holding space for the change that I hope is coming, which is a place of true community and exchange and barter. And yes, I really do believe that is actually possible. I might sound, people call me crazy all the time, but I do believe that we can go back to where we were at one point. And that really is a more harmonious way of living, where we are, not everyone on the street has to have a tractor. Why can't one have one and we all share?
Right.
Or do we all have to have a cabinet full of DVDs, or could the street have a cabinet of DVDs and we all share? So we started doing those things. We are actually actively doing those things in our community.
Awesome.
And it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so we all share things and we share maintenance. Yes, it takes a little bit of work in the beginning because you have to work out all of those kinks. But I would say try to build community in whatever way you can and lend support to others and let them lend support to you. Reach out and connect in ways that'll help you simplify those daily expenses, for one. And for me, as far as being in those ruts where you really do feel you're walking in your purpose and the abundance is not coming, and it's extremely challenging, and it can become, it's hard to trust in those moments. But for me, I've always said this, and I feel like if we're moving in our purpose, even if everything is going to crap around us, when you're moving in your purpose, you have this deep inner peace, though. Even if you are a little bit worried about this and that, there's this deep rooted inner peace, knowing that I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing right now in this moment. And you just have to move with that, because there's really no other better place to be. You could have everything else lined up in perfect duck rows of exactly what would be considered being abundant or being blessed in this social setting. But really, where are you at? I was in that place. I had all the things that we're supposed to get, right? You're supposed to have this house and this car, and your kids are supposed to be in this school, and you're supposed to wear these things, right? To show the world that I'm successful. And I was absolutely miserable. So I really, what's the point? I'd rather have nothing and be living and walking in my purpose and be really at peace in that. Because, then we're doing, what else is our purpose besides being able to shed light and love and truth and being authentic? That's really what being in your purpose is, So, and some of us can't do that in that current system. It's just, it doesn't fit, It's just, yeah. So.
I love that you shared about how, we once were like tribal communities, right? And we did share everything, and we did have that sense of collaboration with everything. And I think collaboration is definitely coming back a lot more, especially for women online and different entrepreneurs and whatnot. However, there is that still very singular sense of living for a lot of people. And it is, still that sense of competition, if you will. And, even having that car, having that Mercedes or what have you, right? It's like, what does the neighbor have? Like, it's just it's like a weird way of thinking about it from a way that we used to come from. So what is your area like that you live in? Like, what's your town like? Are you in the country? Like,
I'm out in the country, Bible Belt, Texas. So when people tell me I can't do it in my community, I go, oh, yes, you can. Yes, you can. If I can do it here, you can do it anywhere. People are you'd be so surprised once you reach out to people. It breaks something down, this separation. The moment you suggest it, you'd be surprised how willing people are. But it's us not judging their appearance. Well, this guy with his Dr. Pepper over here, is he, going to want to collaborate? Well, no, he may not want to move to a hippie community and like share everything, but he'd be totally willing to go in with you and share this. So let's work in that. And then it's so hard to share our things. I have a beautiful, I love homeschool curriculums and books and things, and they're really precious to me. And so those are hard things for me to share. But you start doing it, it feels good. Okay, also it's a library for homeschool things. So mom does over there that's trying to live off one income now, because that was a really hard transition for us. We went from two person income to one, and it's a huge transition. But we chose to simplify so that our kids be homeschooled, and it was not an easy. It just took a lot. It took getting rid of all of those extra things. Cable for a while, we had no internet. We had we had to let go of things in order to make that choice. And
what was your career before? Like, what were you interested in before? Like,
I was really interested. I did. My mom had a weight loss company, and I traveled around with her, and we opened these centers everywhere. And she was very successful. She actually does not do that anymore, because the original program that we created, it was based off a completely different meal plan than what we would, do now. So But yeah, I traveled around doing that, and I hated it. But I was good at it. And, you know, I'm so glad I'm not doing it now. And it was just something that I did travel with Naya, and I keep her at the office with me and stuff, but it was just it was not a good place for her to grow up. We were in the city. And so I made that big jump, and we moved out to this beat up farmhouse, which is now super cute because we've like slowly fixed it up. But I mean, it was bad. I mean, orange, everything. We had nothing worked. It was an absolute nightmare when we first moved in here. And it was the best decision we ever made. And yes, it was uncomfortable. And yes, we had no AC a whole summer in Texas. And yes, there was things that, because we had made that move, and I had also stopped working. So it was a big move, you know. It was okay. I was afraid of everything in nature too. So it was so great for me now looking at where I was when I moved here and how this land has really healed me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the house really had nothing to do with why I moved here. I drove up and the sun was setting and you could see it perfectly from this spot. And I was big pregnant with my second daughter, and I thought, don't even worry about what the house looks like inside. At this price point, it's going to be really bad. We know it's going to be really bad, but just focus on what it looked like outside. And it's been such a beautiful place for my babies to grow up, to be able to play in the dirt and be outside. And it was just such a good, I'm so glad we did it. And it was a struggle, but you learn, you get in a rhythm once you stop all of the, when
the extra chatter.
Yeah, and start reusing and repurposing, and you get in this rhythm, and you realize, oh wow, we can live off so much less than I thought we could. You know, I had no idea. Who knew? You know? So yes, I would say really building community is so important. It sounds so simple, but it really is a big piece, because when we start sharing and working with each other and helping each other, it really does support us in, you know, through that transition of trying to walk in our purpose when the system doesn't really allow us to do that. You know, it's been set up for a whole different type of lifestyle. So
I'm interested in your answer for this question, because I find that it's one of those dualities that are very interesting, and I haven't exactly quite 100% figured it out. So in the law of attraction for abundance, you really want to kind of feel into abundance, you know, and so that you can attract more of it. But then there also is the side of simplifying things and making your life more simple and, you know, feeling more wholesome in a way, and just really connecting with source, connecting to your purpose, that kind of thing. So I'm interested to see what your answer is. And if you have found in the way that you have simplified your life over the years, if you've actually attracted more abundance in those times.
That's yes. Well, yes. I not in the beginning, because I feel like I was going through a cleansing period almost.
Yeah.
You know, I needed to be broken down. I needed to be cleansed. I needed to be uncomfortable, incredibly uncomfortable. I needed to go without a little bit. And I know that sounds, you know, why would the universe do that to you? Well, because the universe really loved me, and it was trying to help me break down all of the years of programming and all the years of conditioning and all the pride and all the things that said I was better than everyone else because I had created these things by this age. And, you know, all of that stuff that needed to break down and needed to be able to ask for help and reach out. And in that, then started the upward, it's that upward climb back to, oh, now the universe is choosing, I'm being blessed and I have abundance, and whether I have it or not doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? That's great. And I'm so glad, but it allowed me to do this work that I'm doing from a place of really true, I think it helped with my intention, because it just sort of happened.
Yeah.
And it wasn't because I was wanting to create income or I was wanting abundance. It came from a place of really wanting to be that bridge for people to that place of inner peace and happiness that I had found. And then in that, because I didn't need it anymore, I had learned to live with less, and I was so happy. I was really, truly happy. So now it's so funny, because now the abundance is coming, and I go, well, that's great. But so it's been, you know, it's just.
Oh, looks like we have a bad connection today. Hopefully you can hear me, Brooke. Just 1 second, you're frozen.
I'm channeling through, so it's okay. You know, I don't want to get to that space again. where it becomes so important to me. So that's really, I choose to stay in this place of gratitude for the simple things and being able to see and appreciate how magical those simple, ordinary things are. And when you get too busy and too surrounded by and too caught up in the material world, it's so easy to start taking those little simple things for granted, because that's where the magic is, in all those little things. It's in all the simple, quiet moments that cost nothing, that are where your true inner peace comes from,
And it's almost like, you just deciding to live your best life and not really be concerned with that. There's like such a sense of like detachment there, right? Which in turn then brings in everything you really need, right? So maybe that's really the answer. I think so many people are definitely concerned with, really just embodying that abundance and like embodying that Lexus that they want and all of this kind of stuff, when really they just need to kind of chill out, like detach, know what they want to attract, but detach, and then also just be happy. Like that's really it.
To write down your goal. I mean, I write my written goals. Written goals are so powerful. Writing things down. I mean, really, in this space, it's so amazing when you get to that place of peace and you write things down and they just happen. I know it sounds unrealistic and not helpful, but really, if you just become truly happy where you're at, and then you choose it, you write it, you say, okay, this is something that this is something I choose to manifest. And then that's it. I choose to manifest this. And it's just amazing every time. And maybe a year from now, or maybe it's 6 months from now, or maybe it's 5 minutes from now, you get a phone call. That's how it works. It's incredible. It's incredible. I will write something down, and that day, out of nowhere, there was a person that I wanted to meet and connect with. And I don't know anybody that knows this person. I have not had any connections with them at all. I haven't reached out to them, but I just chose, I feel drawn to this person. I want to connect with them. I wrote it down. The next day I went to lunch with a friend of mine in Austin. We went to True Foods, and she says, oh, I want to go down and visit my friend. She works for this person. I had just worked. I love how that works. It's just, and it's the cosmic giggle every time. I just, it's just a moment of, I love it. You just have to decide what you want. What is it that you really want,
And I think that's really big for people, is really actually coming to have the clarity of deciding like what it is that they actually want. Because when you want, 500 things at once, you're not really putting any kind of specific like power out there, to reel it in.
And why do you want them? What's the purpose? Is it a pride thing? Is it an ego thing? What's your deal? I mean, if it's not coming to you, you have to check yourself and go, well, why do I really want it? What is it that I'm trying to prove by having that?
Yeah.
So if it's really, you're trying to manifest that for the good of your own tribe or your expanded tribe or the good of the whole, then it will come. I mean, if that's what your real purpose is. I mean, for me, anytime that things haven't come when I've asked, it's because my intention wasn't right or my heart wasn't in the right space. That's my, my experience. Everybody's different. So
your I'm going to call it a brand, but your Barefoot Five brand that's out there. What has that in like life lessons or abundance or new opportunities? What has that brought you since you started it as a simple kind of keepsake for your family?
Wow. Well, I've had a lot of stuff come up for me fear-wise, because I am not, for instance, I'm not a speaker, I'm a writer. So constantly being challenged. And I love that because it helps me expand and grow. So it's given me the of growth, in my little farmhouse, in my little place tucked away. And I still gives me an opportunity to connect with the whole and to expand my own view on life. I am really open to criticism, and a lot of people tell me you should just delete that stuff. I've actually found that it's extremely helpful to me, because in all the anger, hatred, whatever triggered them, right? Something triggered them to react at you. But if you can filter through that, there's usually some truth in there. I'm so grateful for the women and men that gather in that space. I've learned so much from them, and I really do feel connected with them. And they've become real life friendships in the past. I've met with a lot of them and started little projects with them. And it's really, it's a way for us to branch out of our little bubble and connect with the world. You know, the internet's a beautiful thing.
I feel like I definitely was drawn to you and your message from the beginning, like a number of years ago when I would watch kind of you and your stories and your children, the photographs of your children getting older and older and
I know.
yeah. So you have three kids, right? Is it 3 kids and your husband?
I have 3.
So Barefoot Five. And I would imagine that from the wording Barefoot Five, that it's all about just really living a very like organic life, right? Like a very pure life.
The Barefoot Five comes from me and my siblings. It's actually not a lot of people don't know that.
Okay.
But my mom, there's 5 of us kids, and my mom called us the Barefoot Five. So
awesome.
And I kind of stole it from her when we ended up being 5, but it's really my mom's saying. She used to call us that all the time. And it's interesting how this space has become more and more with my sisters and my mom and I just think it's so funny how it's shifted a little bit more away from it being about my family, because as they've gotten older, my kids have a strong opinion about everything, and they're very connected and involved. It's not like I'm taking photos of them and they don't know it, or I'm posting about them and they don't know. They've, ever since they were old enough to communicate with me, I've always run things by them to make sure that it stayed sacred and protecting them, you know?
Right.
So I never post about things. If I run them by them and they don't feel comfortable with it, then it doesn't go. It's just how it's always been. But as they've gotten older, the girls are wanting less and less to be, you know, they're getting older. It's, you know, they have their own little space now. And I caught one day, I was getting ready to post something, and Naya said, sure, go for it. And I went, I just stopped myself and go, no, that's your story to tell now. You know, it's not mine, that's yours. So it's less really about them and more about my own journey. And my mom's teamed up with me now and is helping me with this whole Kitchen Witch course, and my sister's writing and playing on that space. And I'm letting the kids grow into their own thing now. They don't, it's got their own whole
passing the
thing
torch. Passing the torch, or passing the one.
I get so excited to hear what their thoughts or what they're doing. You know, it's really fun. So we have had to create, the internet is a big part of our life here. So we've had to create boundaries and rules, and for ourselves, we kind of sit down every Sunday night and have a family meeting. And so we try not to turn our phones on until 11 a.m. Okay, that gives us all those morning hours to really connect with each other and not be, you know, distracted.
And have a slow morning.
Yeah, we get to eat breakfast together and do whatever we want to do and spend real quality time together. And then we do the schoolwork stuff happens from 11 to 3. Schoolwork, and I do all my shipping stuff and all of that like grind stuff. You know, the kids are getting their schoolwork done. We're all working together in it, but we're working, we're doing stuff. And then we turn it off again. We just kind of shut down from 3 till after dinner and just spend and we don't do any internet on Sundays. No, we actually don't do any phones at all. We just turn everything off.
Wow. That's amazing.
That one day a week makes such a big difference, because everyone's fully present and you know what's going on around them. It's a completely different energy, and you feel so refreshed.
Like how it used to be.
So you're so revived and feel so good. The internet, it's wonderful, but it's a lot coming at you, you know, and you don't really.
Oh, you froze there for a second. Hopefully I can get you back on.
Oh, if you can still hear me. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you froze there for only a moment, but that's fine. One more question before I know you have to go. I just thought of something. Growing up, you know, there wasn't the internet for me, like not until, you know, like into like my kind of like early teens, I would say. And, you know, time was spent outside, like riding bikes and just being super free and, you know, building forts and having adventures. It's kind of a yin yang effect right now, because your children are very immersed with the internet, and I know you're doing what you can to really provide your family with time that allows them to be, you know, just very present, right? But it's such an interesting, different time.
Oh, it is. See, now so this is really interesting. So we only use the internet to give, which is, I think, an area where it's really helped us find balance.
Okay.
We don't do video games. We haven't had a TV in the house since Naya was 2, and I just one day was like, okay, this has got to go. It's just got to go. So there's no TV, and we don't use the internet for anything that takes. We're not taking anything, which is really, people are allowed to use when I say that, because, well, what do you mean? Well, I by example have showed them that. I don't go to the internet to scroll and to take, I go to give.
Right.
And so they have to learn to do the same thing. Nice. So we don't go to play video games. We don't go to just scroll and chat. And, we're not there for that purpose. We go to give and we get out, Yep. And so it's really helped. It's they have a space to share, but then we're not there just sucking energy. And who knows what else you're getting in that process, because and it's not bad to do that. It's not bad to occasionally have a moment where you're just going to scroll and be inspired. I have a very limited few people that I follow that I know I'm only going to, when I go there, I'm going to get really good stuff, good soul food. And then I let go of all the noise, all the nonsense. Just try not to get caught up in that. It's just not, it's a real energy vampire if you allow it to be that. Like arguing on the internet and all of this stuff. No. Yeah.
People really do take it to the next level. And I just want to praise you and also say thank you for being a really awesome inspiration online with yourself and your family, and just the way that you really truly live a creative life, like every single day. And when I very first started my first website all about creativity, that was my message. It was that people can be creative at any moment of any day. They could walk their dog a certain way. They could raise their children in a creative way. They can paint a painting in a creative way. And you seem to just got that nailed down, and you're just living and breathing it. So it's awesome. And you make it look very simple, right? Because some people are going to be listening to this and be like, how do I even start? Like, where do I begin? But you've got it dialed in.
I started really simple. I started with, because I don't know, do you read any of Rudolf Steiner's work?
Yeah.
When he talks about, there's a great piece that he did talking about the internet world coming. Technology was coming. He was talking about it. Get ready for it. It's coming, and it's not going anywhere. And in that, we're going to have to really find time and set intention to protecting ourselves from the material world, the technology, all of those things. You have to make a real effort to go out and connect in that way. Our creativity is out there, outside of the walls of this, and I watch my children now, having grown up with so much time in nature and how their minds work. And I'm so fascinated. And I instinctively knew that there was something there, that nature had something to teach them, but now I'm seeing it come to life in them. And it's a beautiful thing. It's a really beautiful thing. But it takes, because we are just so separated, and it takes setting time to do it. You have to, in the beginning, but then it becomes part of your natural rhythm and it just sort of happens. But in the beginning, it wasn't so easy. I had to, if I don't change my habits, nothing's ever going to change. Well, one of my favorite places to hang out is Instagram, only because it's a very intimate setting. I have a much smaller cyber tribe there. I really like that space. I love my Barefoot Five Facebook page, Tea Time. I do tea time, try to do tea time once a week. It's just a live tea time. People make tea and they come hang out with me and ask me questions. It's so much fun. And I really feel like I get to connect with my people that way. We really build relationships in that space. I love it. Then I have a Flow Parenting page, which is now I'm teamed up with other moms, and we're all going live from that space and answering questions.
Awesome.
So it'll be a space for you to go and just ask all different moms who are doing it all different ways. We're all so different, but our children are really finding that magical groove into finding their purpose and their, rhythm. And so I've invited them all in all their different ways of doing things to come share. There's different kids, different moms, different styles of doing things. Yeah. And so I think it's a great space for us to come without judgment. There's no perfect way to do it. We're all just going to come and share and answer each other's questions and learn from each other. Like, I'm going to learn just from the moms showing up there as they're going to learn from me. That's the whole point, is we're going to help each other. No one's in a teacher position. It's, hey, we're going to gather here in this space and learn from each other. So.
Love it. Thank you so much for sharing with us today. And I hope a lot of people are going to just be very attracted to your way of life and your parenting styles and your wisdom and your visionary teachings. But thank you again. And I hope we connect again really soon. See you later. Bye.
Bye.